Hey folks, I'm going to show you the 2 knots that you need to know for bass fishing. Stick around. Hey fishing friends, Keith here at Chicken Thigh Fishing. Today we're going to talk about the 2 knots that you need to know for bass fishing. Now there are 1,000 different kinds of knots and there's 1,000 different ways to tie them. And you may not be somebody who's proficient at making knots, so I'm going to teach you 2 simple, strong knots that you can use, and you don't need to know 10 or 15 or 20 knots to go out fishing. If you learn these 2 knots, you'll be able to use them in almost any fishing application you can think of, and they will serve you well. So let's get right into it. The first knot I'm going to show you is called the Palomar Knot. It is very popular, and it's probably popular because it's simple and it's strong and it works out very well. And it can be used on braided line, fluorocarbon, and monofilament equally effectively, so there's no issue with that. I'm going to use a typical swim bait jig to demonstrate this. So you're going to take your line. I have 50-pound braid here. I'm going to make a bend in the line. Typical simple bend. I'm going to put that through the eye of the bait, which forms a loop on one side. So on the one side I have the loop, and on the other side I have the tag end of the line along with the main line. So in order to do this knot, all you're going to do is take that loop end and do an overhand knot around the tag line and the main line and pull it through. So you have an overhand knot, and now you have a loop on this side. Now all you have to do is take your bait, whatever it is, whether it's a hook or a lure, and put it through that loop, and then cinch it down and pull the knot tight. Pull the tag end, pull the main line, and there you have a Palomar knot. All you have to do now is to clip your tag end, and your knot is complete. It's a very strong, very simple knot. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off and do it again to illustrate how simple it is. Take the line, form a bend, go through the eye of your bait, forming a loop on one side, leaving the tag end and the main line on one side and the loop on the other. Take the looped side and go around the main line and the tag end, bringing the loop through to the other side, leaving a loop on this side and simply dropping the bait through the loop and then cinching it down like so. Clipping the tag end, leaving you with a Palomar knot. Now the next knot I'm going to show you is probably the knot that I use most frequently, especially with braid. It's a super strong knot and it's super easy. Once you do it a few times, you'll get it down. It may seem complicated at first, but it's really not. So the next knot we're going to do is the Uni-Knot. Now the Uni-Knot is a very strong knot. It's my favorite knot. I use it more often than any other knot, hands down. So let's get at it. You're going to take your line and your bait and you're going to go through the eyelet. You're going to go back through it the same way. So you've gone through it twice and you're going to pull yourself some slack. So now you have the tag line and the main line. So what we're going to do is take the tag end and we're going to wrap it around the double line here several times. In this case, I'm going to do it 8 times. That's what I usually do. And this is what it looks like. You're going to take it and wrap it once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now that I have it wrapped 8 times around the double line with the tag end in my forefinger and thumb and holding the bait with my other hand, I'm going to pull against each other. And I will go slowly so you can see the knot form. And those 8 loops form around themselves to make a very nice noose type knot. Now once that's formed like that, I simply take the main line in my hand, wrap it around my hand to give myself some leverage, and then holding the bait on the other hand, pull against each other. And as you pull, the knot moves down to the bait. And then when it gets there, you can tighten it down and cinch it down, leaving you with a tag end that needs to be clipped off. Clip it off as close to the knot as you can without cutting the knot itself. And there you have a Uni-Knot. Very, very strong. And you can use as many loops as you like, or as few loops as you like. The more loops that you use, obviously the stronger the knot will be. But just be aware that the more loops you make, if you tighten it down on the line before you bring it down to the bait, it can be difficult to move down the line. You may have to wet it with some saliva to give it some lubrication to slide down the line. So that there is a Uni-Knot. Very, very strong knot. That knot will not break. Now that's not to say your line will never break, because certainly your line may break. In other words, if you're pulling a bait and you rub it over a rock or some other type of sharp foreign object or something, your line certainly may break at some point. But I'm telling you, this knot doesn't break if you do it properly. So it's a very good knot to know. Let's do that one more time so I can show you how simple it is. And again, once you do this a few times, you will have this knot down. Go through once, go through twice, get yourself some slack, leaving you with a tag line and a main line. Take the tag end and wrap it around the double line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab the tag end and the bait and pull against each other and this will form the knot on itself using those loops. Pull it down, but not all the way tight, so it still has the ability to move down the line. Get yourself some leverage on the main line and pull the knot down to the bait, then cinch it down. And clip off the tag end. And that is a super strong Uni-Knot. So there you have it, the Palomar knot and the Uni-Knot. Use those two knots, you can't go wrong. You don't need to know 20 knots to go fishing. Learn those two, you're all set. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you out on the water, folks. Stay fishing, my friends.